Hello students, welcome back to your history class. I am Mrs. Jenny Shah, your teacher. We finished question 1 and 2 last class. We will continue with question 3 today. What is meant by the term Abbasid revolution? After Muhammad, the Prophet, the people who took charge of the Muslims are called the caliphs. The first dynasty of these caliphs, named Umayyads, they held the reign of Muslim world for about 99 years, from 661 AD to 750 AD. They were removed from power in 750 AD by a revolution, and then a second dynasty named as the Abbasid was founded. This incident of defeating the old dynasty and the establishment of the new dynasty in 750 AD was termed as the Abbasid revolution. The Abbasids, they were the descendants of the uncle of Prophet Muhammad, Abbas, and they were called the Abbasi caliphs. They remained in the power for the next 2 centuries. The Abbasids depicted the rule of Umayyads as an evil and promised to re-establish the original Islam that was established by the Prophet. This led many disgruntled people to come to their fold. Then they all defeated the last Umayyad caliph, that is named Marwan, at the banks of the Zab river in the battle. Marwan was killed by an Iranian slave, Abu. Thus began a new dynasty of caliphs known as the Abbasid dynasty. Okay, so this is what you will write. You will speak about the Abbasid revolution, then you will speak about why it's called the Abbasid, and then you will speak about how they killed the Umayyad caliph, the last caliph called Marwan. Next, write short notes on Hijri era, Jihad, and Cardova. Hijri era. The Muslim calendar begins with the Hijri era. This era begins from 20 September 622, when Muhammad Sahib left Mecca and reached Medina due to a strong opposition by the people of Mecca. In Islam, this incident is known by the name of Hijrat. Jihad. Jihad was the main cause of the spread of Islam. Muhammad Sahib had said, if need be, it is the duty of every Musliman to take part in jihad. One who is skilled in jihad goes to heaven directly, and who wins gets wealth and worldly comforts. Cardova. Cardova was the capital of the Arab kingdom in Spain. It was a big center of trade, commerce, and industry. The spacious buildings of this place are the beautiful specimen of the Arab craftsmanship and art. Besides trade, it was a good center of education. There were many schools and colleges, and also a big university. Here, students from Oxford, Paris, and from other parts of Europe came to study at Cardova. Next question. Give examples of the cosmopolitan character of the states scattered by Arabs, Iranians, and Turks. The Arabs, Iranians, and Turks played a crucial role in the spread of Islam. Within no time, Islam spread in the world, especially in many countries of Asia like Arabia, Syria, Palestine, Iraq, Iran, Khorasan, all the way up to Oxus. Arabs' influence was great in Arabia and Syria. Iranians in Iraq and Iran, and Turks in Khorasan and Oxus. But in every country, non-Muslims were well treated after they paid kharaj and jajiza, which were the taxes imposed on non-Muslims. They had every right to own property and other economic activities. Jews and Christians and Dhimmis were declared as protected people by the state, and they had sufficient freedom to do the work for their own community. So this is how the cosmopolitan, this is how, if they ask you to throw light on the cosmopolitan character of the states, especially the Arabs, Iranians, and Turks, this is how you will describe it, how they all lived together. Okay? So with this, we end the very short answer questions. That comes for 2 marks. Now we're looking at 4-mark questions where you write this in about 100 words. What were the effects of crusades on Europe and Asia? So in this, we start with the definition of crusades. So the holy wars fought between Christians and Muslims during the Middle Ages over the control of Jerusalem are called the Crusades. What were the results of Crusades? You will divide this part of the answer in 2 forms, negative results and positive results. These religious wars produced far-reaching effects. Negative results. Point form, the first one. These crusades were fought for about 2 centuries, 1096 to 1291 AD, with little intervals here and there. In these wars or crusades, thousands of people lost their lives. So this was a negative result. These wars were fought for 2 centuries and there were lots of people who were losing their lives. Number 2, the weakness of the church was exposed and a severe blow was given to the power and prestige of the papacy. Okay, now we'll talk about the positive results. However devastating the crusades were, they also left some positive results. Number 1, the crusades helped in the development of European culture and civilization. The Europeans enriched their knowledge in almost all the fields. These crusades led to the increase in trade between the East and the West. The Europeans came to know many new articles of daily use, such as silk, muslin, cloth, sugar, glassware, spices, medicine. Third, the Crusades encouraged the spirit of adventure and geographical exploitation. Various new lands like America were discovered. A new route to India was also discovered as a result of the spirit of adventure promoted by the Crusades. So the 3 parts were, it helped in the development of the European culture and civilization. Number 2 is increase in the trade between East and West. And number 3 is the spirit of adventure and the geographical exploitation. These were the 3 positive results. Okay. Next question. Explain briefly the difference between Shias and Sunnis. Soon after the expiry of Muhammad Sahib Islam, Muhammad Sahib Islam was divided into two sects, the Shias and the Sunnis. The Shias were the people who wanted Ali to succeed the Prophet, and they came to be known as Shias. Ali was Prophet's son-in-law. They did not regard the first three caliphs, that is Abu Bakr, Omar, and Osman, as the legitimate successors of the Prophet. But before the powerful Abu Bakr, they could not succeed in their attempts. They could only succeed after the death of the third Khalifa, Usman, that also at the age of 80. And even then, their success was short-lived when Ali, who had become the fourth Khalifa, was killed along with his sons, Hassan and Hussein. In order to remember this day, the Shias every year perform the Muharram ceremony. Muharram is coming. Okay, by the time you will see this video, it must have finished. Okay, so Muharram just went by. The Shias are predominantly in Iran or Persia, though they are scattered in most part of the world, especially in the Islamic countries. The Sunnis. Now, who were the Sunnis? Shias were the ones who follow Ali, who was the son-in-law of Prophet. Now we'll talk about Sunnis. The followers of Abu Bakr came to be known as Sunnis. They regard the first three caliphs as legitimate successors of the Prophet. This is the main difference between Shias and Sunnis. The Sunnis are regarded as more fanatic than the Shias. We so often find the clashes between Shias and Sunnis in many corners of the Islamic world. Okay, so with this I end today's class. We finished question number 2. We're going to start with question number 3 in next class. Okay, so with this I end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care. Write these answers down, write these points down. They will help you in your upcoming midterm examinations, which shall be taking place somewhere in October. So till then, stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.